When I married Jas, I thought I had found the perfect man. He was charming, kind, and made me feel like the only woman in the world. His deep, dark eyes held secrets, but I never questioned them. His touch was warm, yet sometimes it sent a strange chill through me. But love makes you blind, and I was deeply in love. Until the night everything changed. It started with small things. Jas never slept at night. I would wake up at midnight, and he would be standing by the window, staring into the darkness. "Jas?" I whispered once. He turned slowly, his face unreadable. "Go back to sleep, Julia." His voice sounded different, distant, hollow. Then there were the scars. I had seen them on his back once, long, deep slashes. "What happened to you?" I had asked. He had pulled away. "You don't want to know." I thought he was just a man with a past, but I had no idea what I had married. One night, I couldn't sleep. I heard whispers from the basement. We never used the basement. Jas had always said it was just storage. But that night, curiosity won over fear. I tiptoed down the stairs, my heart racing. The whispers grew louder. Not one voice. Many. I reached the basement door. It was locked. But then I saw something. Scratch marks. Long, deep claw marks on the wood, as if something had tried to break out. A chill ran down my spine. I turned to run, but froze. Jas was standing behind me. His dark eyes glowed unnaturally in the dim light. "You shouldn't be here, Julia," he said softly. I swallowed hard. "What's in there, Jas?" His jaw tightened. "You don't want to know." I stepped back. "I need to know." Something in him shifted, a flicker of sadness. Then he sighed and pulled a key from his pocket. "Remember, Julia," he said, voice low, "no matter what happens, I love you." He unlocked the door, and I saw everything. The basement was not storage. It was a prison. Chains hung from the walls, the air smelled of iron and something rotten. And in the corner, a creature crouched. It was like nothing I had ever seen. Its skin was dark and cracked, eyes glowing like embers, its claws long and sharp. But the worst part, it had Jas's face. I gasped, stumbling back. My mind refused to understand. Jas stepped forward, his body shuddered, and then, he changed. His skin darkened, his fingers stretched into claws, his teeth sharpened into fangs. Jas was the monster. "I never wanted you to see this," Jas whispered, his voice layered, human and something else. Tears filled my eyes. "What are you?" He looked down. "A curse, a mistake, a creature meant to be forgotten." I shook my head. You lied to me." "I didn't," he said desperately. "I love you, Julia. I tried to be normal for you. But the monster inside me, it's real, and it's hungry." The words sent ice through my veins. "Hungry?" I whispered. He nodded slowly. "I fight it, every day, but it grows stronger." I realized something. The chains weren't to keep something out, they were to keep him in. Jas reached out. "I would never hurt you, Julia, but you must leave, before it takes over." Tears ran down my face. I should have run, I should have been terrified, but I loved him, and I couldn't leave. "No," I whispered. "I won't abandon you." A low growl rumbled in his chest. He staggered back, gripping his head, his body twisted in agony. "The hunger, it's coming." His voice cracked. I had one chance. I grabbed the iron chain from the wall and wrapped it around his wrists. He screamed, his body shaking violently. "You're stronger than the monster, Jas," I said, my voice breaking. "Fight it." His eyes flickered between human and beast. He roared, shaking the walls. Then suddenly, silence. Jas collapsed to the ground, breathing heavily. His body returned to normal. I knelt beside him, my hands shaking. "You saved me," he whispered. I pressed my forehead against his. "I love you, Jas, monster or not." He looked up, pain and love in his eyes. "Then I will fight, for you." Jas and I never spoke of that night, but every full moon he locks himself in the basement, and every full moon I sit outside the door waiting, because love is not just for the beautiful. Sometimes love is for the monsters too.